Welcome back to Ask Moms, the show where we talk parenting, community, and the beautiful chaos behind trying to raise good humans in a very busy and sometimes crazy world. As we remind everyone, we are not professionals, but we can share our seasoned experience and remind you that you're awesome. If you feel you do need professional support, please do not hesitate to reach out to a qualified medical expert. Please do. Yes, this is the podcast where we cheer for moms, dads, caregivers, kids, and the incredible people who help protect our communities. Today, we are very fortunate to have with us Chief Kevin Plested, who is a Director of Emergency Services and Fire Chief in Bracebridge, Ontario. Welcome, Chief Plested, and thank you for being our guest today on Ask Moms.
Thank you.
Today, we'd like to hear about the person behind the badge. Thought it's the best opportunity to ask the questions that many parents quietly wonder about that's kind of on the back burner, ooh, no pun intended, plus the ones we may not even realize that we should be asking or we need to think about.
So before the title and leadership role, what inspired you to get into emergency services?
The easiest way to say that is my dad was a volunteer back when I was a kid.
Cool.
As much as I didn't go to calls and all that stuff, I got to see him leave the house at a moment's notice. And even back then, before 911, it was a phone tree system that, the phone would ring, and that's how you knew about the call. It was an interesting time back then. It's a lot easier now to get those notifications. But yeah, I didn't get to see the instance, but I got to see how that department, it was Raymond Windermere at the time. At the time that I started, I was a 16-year-old. Just celebrated my 30 years since I started. So as a 16-year-old, I carried a pager in high school, which was cool at the time.
Good for you. Yeah. I often wonder if we truly see the human side of emergency workers, and there's so much more we don't truly see or fully understand.
What has this career taught you most about, let's say, people?
Everyone has a story. As much as when we see people, usually it's a stranger. As much as it's a small town, it's not a small town. So when we go to people's places, they're usually calling us because they need help, but it's a snapshot in time. We don't want to judge people in what we see at the moment because we don't know what they're going through in their personal lives. All we can say is, at this moment, you need our help, and we help people.
So when you're responding, you're not even thinking about, you're just looking at what's happening, making sure people are safe.
Exactly, mitigating whatever they've called us for.
Right. And
making sure they're safe when we leave, to be honest. We might be there for a completely different reason, but we want to make sure they have smoke alarms, carbon monoxide alarms, that type of thing. So, but the other thing I see is people are very resilient. So someone who has a house fire, we'll say, and not necessarily loses everything, but we can go right to that extreme. It's how the neighbors rally around them, the community rallies around them. Right. And you look at the flooding, the ice storms, how much that has helped people, really shown our sense of community.
So you must see people on some of their hardest days in their lives. Can't even imagine how difficult that is for you and your team and how deeply this must affect you guys.
What supports do you have to help carry the emotional weight that comes with this work?
It's something that has come to the forefront. Back when I started, you almost had to suppress it. You were taught that, you're doing this job. You need to pocket that away. And what's occurred is that the emotional side of it and the mental health side of it has come to the forefront, that we need to support each other. So back when I started, it was very much quiet. But since then, the supports are definitely much more available. WSIB is much more helpful in providing those supports. You do a Google search on firefighter or first responder mental health, you'll find lots of resources out there, and Warrior Health is actually a big one right now that's just been created. So mental health is a big one.
For peoples and mothers of kids that are thinking about being firefighters, just to know that there's a lot of support.
Yeah,
so
and not just firefighters, first responders. They're doing this out of the goodness of their heart. We have to lean on each other and make sure that we're prepared.
Definitely, and I'm so glad that this is out there more, because a lot of people, like you said, have been suppressing everything, just pushing it down.
Yep.
But if they know that this is no stigmas behind it, help is there.
Exactly.
So I think families forget that emergency workers go home carrying all these experiences too.
So that balance matters so much, especially in careers where the pressure never kind of really shuts off. Okay, so let's talk about fire safety at home.
The law recently changed that also requires carbon monoxide alarms in every home if you have a method of producing carbon monoxide. A lot of people think it's just a natural gas furnace or something like that, or propane that needs it, but if you have a wood-burning fireplace, you could have carbon monoxide in your house as well. There was a law that you had to have one in your house if you had any of those things. Even an attached garage requires a carbon monoxide. They've upped it to one in every level, just like your smoke alarm. The nice thing about that is when you go to buy a new smoke alarm, you're going to have the option of buying a combination, smoke and carbon monoxide alarm. You talk about batteries, they now have a 10-year battery in them. Right now, if you still have one, I would check the date first because the non-rechargeable or the rechargeable battery ones, if you have a battery still, chances are you might be getting old.
Okay.
An old alarm, and we recommend replacement every 10 years.
We always did it when it was daylight savings time.
Yep. Yeah. It's also supposed to check them monthly. If you're away for a week, you should check them when you come back because the mechanisms inside them are only designed to alert you that there's a low battery or something's wrong for 7 days.
Oh, so you missed that when you're gone.
As per manufacturer's instructions. Because every manufacturer could have a slight variation.
Yeah.
So the fire code gives us that leeway.
Great advice. Thank you.
Thank you. What do we tell kids about smoke alarms and fire alarms?
You have to be realistic with them. Some parents I know are worried about talking about it and scaring their kids.
Right.
But if they don't know what to do when that sound happens, they're not going to know what to do. So we have different levels of our teachings of those kids. The first level, when they're that young, is really just recognizing us and not being scared of us. In firefighter gear, all that stuff. The hope is, with smoke alarms, we shouldn't be having to go into a smoke-filled building to rescue a child. Smoke alarms should indicate way before that happens to get out. Kids have to know that. So don't be afraid to let them hear it. That's the main thing. And once they get into school, they are hearing it. The fire alarms in the schools are just as loud. That's where you take what's learned at school and is actually mandated to learn at school to bring it home, because more fires happen at home than happen at school. So as much as you think it will never happen to me, I haven't met someone yet that has said, I thought this was going to happen.
Oh, yeah. No,
So-
be prepared.
Exactly. Be prepared.
That will reduce panic if, in the unfortunate event, that you ever get in that situation.
Exactly.
I like that.
So let's talk escape plans.
Yep. Essentially, working smoke and carbon monoxide alarms, as long as they're working properly, should give you advance notice of any fire. You shouldn't get to a stage of a fire if you have properly installed working smoke alarms that you can't get out one way.
Okay.
We still recommend you always have a second option just in case. Think of when your smoke alarm goes off when you're cooking. You don't see the smoke, right?
No.
It's registering stuff in the air, but it's not a full smoke in a lot of cases. That's how quick those things go off. So if you have working smoke alarms, you should be able to get out with no problem. It's not like the movies where you come out of your bedroom and there's this fireball.
Right.
You should be coming out of your bedroom to very little smoke if you have properly working smoke alarm. That's the big thing. I know we sometimes talk about always having the 2 ways out. There are products out there on the market for escape ladders and stuff like that. If you ever look at escape ladder, when they do sell them locally in stores, they are very flimsy. It's not stairs. It's an escape ladder that is on ropes and stuff like that. Like you think it's more like a jungle gym looking thing than it is a device that's probably going to be easy to come down. So I think that gives you a false sense of, I can get out the second way. If it's your prerogative, absolutely. But you're also not supposed to train with those. It's a one-time use thing.
Oh.
So you're not supposed to take it out of the box,
Right.
practice with it. You have to have two. You have to have a practice one and a real one. I'd rather working smoke alarms and early notification.
Yeah.
It's what's going to save lives, not escape ladders and stuff like that. So,
Guess where I'm going on the way home.
yeah,
I'm going to get more.
absolutely. They used to be $10,
Yeah.
but it didn't have all the nice features.
Right.
The newer ones, they talk to you, they tell you smoke, because some people don't know the beeps. 3 beeps is actually smoke, 4 is carbon monoxide
Oh, I didn't know that.
in succession. So now they talk to you, so you don't have to know the beeps.
Oh.
The beeps are mandated, but
Yeah.
not the talk. It's all about feature. Will the $10 one alert you to a fire? Yes. We do a door-to-door program, and one of the things we do in the newer neighborhoods is make sure people understand when 10 years comes around, you're going to have to spend a significant amount of money to replace all of your alarms. It's something we want to make sure people understand.
Okay, so what if somebody wears hearing aid? How did they get notified?
So that's the big thing about testing. And that's why we, right up from a high-rise building down to a residential home, the testing of the alarms isn't necessarily to make sure they're working. It's also for the occupants to know whether they can hear it. So that's what I instill in a lot of residential homes is even if you're in your 80s, 90s, 60s, 50s,
Yep.
you need to be checking your smoke alarms to make sure you can still hear it. There's been a few times where I've done consults with other agencies that have come in. They know their client has hearing problems. They're concerned about their safety. So we'll recommend a strobe light. So a lot of the smoke alarms now have strobes in them,
Lights, yeah.
which new houses actually have to have strobe installed. It was mandated to do that. There is the argument of people with seizure possibilities that it could impact that. It's a case-by-case basis. A new home right now will have strobes in them. We always know which house is going off when we're coming down the street because every bedroom is flashing in succession. So
That's helpful too.
Exactly.
You're
But
not like, you get to know the area, but you're not looking at addresses. There it is.
that also leads into kids being more afraid of that because now you got the sound and the
Flashing.
flashing,
Right.
and they need to know that before a fire happens because we don't want them hiding from all that
Oh.
stuff. Going back to practicing, you want to practice this stuff and make sure that they understand what the implications are.
So, okay, meeting spots outside the house. In those moments of chaos, confusion, having a plan can make all the difference and help reduce stress when it's hard to think clearly, right?
Yep, exactly. Again, goes back to that practicing. As
Yeah.
much as we, practice meeting space,
Yeah.
at 2 a.m., that meeting space might be scary.
Yeah,
During the day, it's fine, but always have that backup. Go to a neighbor.
Yes.
It's still outside the house.
exactly.
So,
yes.
so that's the big thing.
So is there a step-by-step to do for an escape plan?
Yeah, so there's lots of resources online. Bracebridge.ca/fire
Okay.
takes us right to our page. But even the Ontario Fire Marshal's office, NFPA Kids is a big one. They usually have some sort of resources, and we try to get them into the schools. So if you have a child, chances are we'll talk to them at some point if they're in Muskoka.
Okay.
And what about your pets? Can you
huge.
better prepare to have a plan for your pet during an emergency?
Pets are important. Having the ability to quickly get them out, so having that dog leash at the door. Maybe if it's a cat, maybe a cat carrier at the door. Just kind of thinking about that as
Yeah.
part of your escape plans.
Yeah.
Yeah, just being prepared. That these are the
Yeah.
things you think about when you're
Yeah.
creating that escape plan is what ifs. And the big thing there too, don't go back in to get them if you're safely outside, call for them, but don't go back in. We'll do our best when we get there,
Yeah.
but also we're not coming until you get outside and phone us.
Yeah.
I think every parent has had at least one moment where they've turned around and their child was suddenly way too close to the stove.
Such a panicky feeling, isn't it? What are the biggest kitchen safety mistakes families make?
I would say the biggest would be unsupervised cooking, and what I mean by that is putting something on and walking to another room. We have so many distractions nowadays that you might walk into the room anticipating you're coming straight back, but then the phone rings,
Yeah.
or you get a text message,
Yeah.
or you're distracted,
Yeah.
and then you come back to an incident.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say that's the biggest one, but even just like cleanliness of appliances. Generally, you get a notice that, your oven needs to be cleaned. But you look at it, it's not that bad, but it might be,
okay.
right? We've had a few oven fires, and actually when an oven fire occurs, the heat buildup and stuff in there, it sometimes locks it. Or when you do a cleaning and you don't wipe it out, because people think, well, just do a cleaning, click the button and go.
It's done.
Then whatever's in there is
Yeah.
going to burn away. No, you're supposed to wipe it first. You're supposed to take out all the stuff and then do the cleaning. Then it cleans that ceramic and stuff.
And then once it's finished, do you have to wipe it out again?
Yeah, once it cools down,
Oh, okay.
then it will unlock because it does have a locking feature. Newer ones do.
Okay.
They have a locking feature, so once it cools down, it unlocks, and then you open it up and you wipe it clean. So it'll all be an ash.
Okay.
Because what it's doing is basically super cooking.
Incinerating
it's
everything.
incinerating.
Yeah, yeah.
So if you leave stuff in there, because some people have left plastics in there, some people have left aluminum foil or sometimes food in there. They didn't realize it, and they just thought, I just got to do cleaning, and they didn't realize that someone else had left a dish in there they forgot about.
Eek.
You're supposed to open it up, clean everything out, get all the little stuff, and then do a cleaning.
Oh, boy.
So it's understanding your appliances and how to properly do that. It's not as simple as a button.
No,
It's
yeah.
it's not a.
I just never trusted those. I just do it by hand.
Yep.
It's like,
That is recommended. Is the hand.
Just
for
do
sure.
it.
By hand.
Yeah.
So stove safety for children.
The biggest thing, trying to keep them away. That's huge. I know kids are kids.
Yeah.
But having a readily accessible stool for them to get up there, as much as they might be geared towards getting up to the counter,
Yeah.
up to the counter,
yeah.
it's easy to, that stove is the same height.
Right.
So that sort of thing. But pot handles is as simple as having a pot handle angled in as opposed to out, because if they're trying to climb up on the counter, the first thing they're going to find is a handle.
Yeah.
And handles are for grabbing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look around your house and look for these dangers that a lot of people just, it's not that they're not thinking about them, it's just they don't recognize it.
Right,
And
yes.
That's what we try to
Yeah.
do with the education side. So
Yeah. Okay, so what are some common cooking habits that can accidentally start fires?
the biggest cooking habit, and we kind of alluded to this earlier, is forgetting that you've left something on. I have a habit now of setting a timer so that there's something to tell me that I did put something on.
Right.
Something as simple as just turning on the stove. Like, I think they should almost already have okay, it's been 15 minutes.
Yes.
Ding.
A sensor.
Yeah. Something that says, hey,
Yeah.
I've been on
Yeah.
for a little while, or something that says, okay, once turned on, okay, I
Yeah.
only want 5 minutes. Okay, I want 40 minutes.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Like distracted driving, they warn you
Exactly.
now. We need distracted cooking sensors.
Exactly. Yeah.
I think you just
That's a good
invented
idea.
something.
Yeah.
You heard it here first. This is Kevin's idea.
Yep.
Yes. If you have a grease fire in your pot, you're making homemade French fries,
Yep.
and fire starts? What do you do?
We'll get a little sciencey here
Okay.
with grease.
Okay.
Fire needs 3 things to burn. So the flame is not really fire. The fire is the thing that happens underneath the flame. The flame is the energy that gives off, essentially light and heat. So you need fuel. That's your grease. That's your fuel. You need oxygen, so it needs air to breathe. Fire is a living, breathing thing.
Okay.
And you need that heat. Those 3 things create fire. So obviously, you got your grease, you're heating it up, it's open. It could potentially, if it gets hot enough, burn.
Right.
We want to take away one of those things. Every fire can be extinguished by taking away one of those 3 things.
Oh.
Can you take away the grease?
No.
No. Can you take away the heat?
Yes.
Yes.
You could. Can you take away the oxygen?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. I'll talk about the heat. If you were to put water on it, because that's what water does, is takes away the heat, takes away that energy. It does not react the same in grease as it does on wood. So water's a no-no. So trying to take away that heat, we don't have anything else readily available. Water's readily available. That's why it's our primary firefighting tool. So we want to reduce that oxygen. The safest and best way to do it is to have a lid designed for that pot. If you don't have one designed for that pot, you can use a baking sheet, anything that's going to smother that, go over top of that to reduce the ability for oxygen to get in.
Okay.
Now, I know what you're thinking. I've seen online fire blankets.
How'd you know?
I just had a feeling. But fire blankets are not approved for use in Canada because there's no testing standard. You don't know what it's made of. What it's doing is, in order for you to get it properly over a grease fire, you have to put your arms across it. Whereas, yeah, you could throw it, but the throwing action might not work either.
And you could knock your grease.
Exactly. You
Fire all
do
over
more
the place.
danger than
Yeah.
just sliding a lid
Yeah.
over top of
Yeah.
is,
Yeah.
as much as you're getting close with
Yeah.
the lid idea, you are doing it more safely than this fire blanket. The Ontario Fire Marshal's Office, the NFPA, there's no approved fire blanket that exists for residential occupancy.
So maybe that's a good point that before you buy anything online, it should be CSA approved.
Exactly. Other things we've recently found is some people buying smoke alarms and carbon monoxide detectors that work better than the ones you find in stores is what the big sales tactic is. Then we've got some in our possession that someone did buy off online and promoted that it was a better product. It detects better. It shows you more detail, but it's not CSA approved.
Oh, man.
It was actually more money than what you would get in store, but they promoted the better product side of it, that it shows 3 different lights as opposed to you don't get lights on this thing, but you don't need lights. You
Oh
need
my
it to
gosh,
beep when
yeah.
when it senses stuff. You don't need to see what the reading is. You need to get out when it registers its dangerous level.
Yes.
So we try to educate as much as possible.
Yeah.
When we're doing inspections, we're trying to educate.
Yeah.
Trying to educate that
Prevent,
if something
yeah.
happens,
Yeah.
Yeah.
you will be financially covered. When a fire occurs, we do an investigation. If it's big enough, we call in the OFM, Ontario Fire Marshal's Office, to do the investigation. And we'll try to determine the cause and all that stuff. But after we're done, the insurance company takes over. The insurance company will send their own investigators. So
Think about that, everybody.
yeah.
That's important.
I won't even buy a lamp or anything online unless it's like CSA approved.
Yep.
Because no way, I wouldn't trust the wiring,
Exactly.
no matter how pretty it is, and I really want
Yeah,
it.
and going along that road, lamp that's been passed down from generation to generation,
Well, there's that too.
it could cause a fire because it's not designed for the having been in place for 30, 50,
Yeah.
100 years.
Yes.
It doesn't work the same as it did when it was new.
Good.
So
Right.
Yes. Thank you for bringing that up.
So let's talk about extension cords and charging devices.
using the cord or device that was meant for that device. I know you can easily online buy whatever charging device, way cheaper than one that was meant for your phone, but it could potentially not work the same. It could cause overcharging of the battery. It could not have the safety mechanisms in to shut off when it needs to. Like as much as the phone might try to do that, you're still supplying power to that device through that other.
See, I never would have thought of that.
No, and even extension cords, like if they're frayed or old, they're not built to the same standard, kind of similar to an old lamp. Taking the ground off. Some people take the ground off because it doesn't fit in a certain way. It's not meant for that. So
right.
when you do that, it lessens the safety features
Yeah.
of those
Totally.
devices. So really making sure you're plugging into the right thing, essentially. And one common thing is if you don't have a plug close to where you want to put a heater, let's do an extension cord around the room and we'll plug in that heater over there. But if you read the manufacturer's instructions for that heater, it will say must be plugged directly into the wall. So if you need a plug on that side, you should have an electrician come and wire one.
Yes.
Right.
So you're not doing these extension cords because once you start doing it around your house, now you got furniture being kicked up against it, you're pinching it. There's a lot of dangers with those devices. Extension cords are a temporary method of getting power where you need it for a temporary amount of time, not a permanent solution. That's definitely a big thing. And that leads into all these devices that are charging a battery. that battery is probably a lithium-ion battery. From a firefighting standpoint, lithium-ion battery fires are very difficult to put out because, like we kind of talked about in that science-y portion about grease fires, you need 3 things to make a fire. So in this case, the fuel is the battery, which is made up of a whole bunch of different chemicals and different products, different metals that all burn. You got your heat, will create a heat. Obviously, once it starts heating up, it's potentially going to create that heat. And oxygen. Using that same analogy to the grease fire of covering it and smothering it doesn't work for those batteries because the lithium ion, when it burns, creates its own oxygen as part of its chemical reaction.
Whoa.
So we can't just put something over top of it and let it go out. Because they've even marketed fire blankets for us to use on a car fire. Big fire blankets that are supposed to put it out. But I think it's more just letting it burn underneath a blanket. Controlling it into that space. Lithium-ion batteries are everywhere. Hearing aid batteries, if it's rechargeable, you have lithium-ion batteries on your ears. They're in your cell phones. They're in your laptops. They're in your kids' devices. Let's say you lose the power cord for your kid's toy truck that you can ride on. And I'll just go on Amazon's got one, which could be coming from an area that doesn't necessarily have the same electrical safety standards.
Right.
You plug it into that, now it's overcharging that device, potentially causing further issues, right?
Wow.
So,
Oh my gosh. So what should we do if we do have one of these fires?
get out.
Yeah.
It's the biggest thing because a lithium-ion battery fire happens so fast. I challenge you to just search YouTube.
Okay.
Lithium-ion battery fires.
Yeah.
It will scare you. People with scooters nowadays, they have lithium-ion batteries in them. And people are bringing those into their homes.
Yes.
And those are big batteries. You wouldn't drive a car into your home to charge it.
Right.
These scooters, even the kids' scooters, like the scooters that kids have that go down the road, recharging somehow.
Yeah.
It's usually a lithium-ion battery.
How about these e-bikes and things too?
Or
Exactly.
cars.
E-bikes,
Plug it
everything.
in cars.
Yep.
Oh, right. This is really terrifying now.
It's not necessarily overcharging. It's those batteries, when you open up the pack, it's like little pieces of battery. Like there's a whole bunch of different methods of building them, but when those get damaged, they cause thermal runaway. Once one has a fire, then the next one has a fire, next one has a fire. And it just keeps going and going and going. So these are becoming a big thing. My recommendation, smoke alarms,
Yeah.
having an escape plan. Don't store them inside. Don't charge inside. Don't charge when you're not home.
Does that include cars, electric cars?
Yeah, but if a
Still.
battery gets damaged from a bump, if it's not secured properly, or maybe you hit a rock by mistake and it causes a little bit of damage to that battery, you won't even know about it, and it could happen 5 years from now from that bump from 5 years prior. Some investigations now they've had where not so much where the lithium-ion battery caused the fire, but was involved in a fire. That damaged lithium-ion battery, they put it outside, and then 3 days later it caught fire because it was damaged in the fire, but it didn't damage it enough to cause the fire then, but it still did it later. How many times have you dropped your phone
Yeah.
and potentially caused damage?
Oh, yeah.
So
Numerous times.
as much as the manufacturers, engineers and stuff, they'll try to create a device that is well protected. You never know.
All right. Well, thank you for not only serving this community, but for helping educate families in such a compassionate and approachable way.
And thank you to all emergency service workers, firefighters, dispatchers, paramedics, volunteers, and all the support teams who quietly show up every day for others. And also, not mentioned too often, are security companies and the manufacturers who design and develop safety tools to help keep us alerted and safe.
Yeah. So everything that you do to keep our community safe, Chief Plested, big thank you, and a big thank you for being our guest. To all our Ask Moms listeners, thanks for tuning in. Tonight could be the perfect night to check your smoke alarms, go over your escape plan, or have a quick safety chat with your kids. Please connect with us at askmomstoday@gmail.com. You can find us on YouTube, but also on Hunters Bay Radio, 88.7 FM on the dial, or www.muskogaradio.com. And as always, we hope we've helped you feel empowered, heard, and supported. And please remember, moms, dads, kids, everybody, we know you're doing your best, and you are not alone. So until next time, please take care of yourself and others when you can. You've got this.